Picture this. It is thousands of years ago. You are a hunter. The night is dark and cold. Somewhere beyond your camp, something moves through the shadows. You reach for your spear. Then you hear it. A deep growl. It is not aimed at you. It is directed into the darkness, warning you. That sound, that single moment, may be how this entire story began. Here is what many people misunderstand about dogs. Humans did not domesticate them the same way we domesticated horses, cattle, or chickens. We did not capture a wolf, decide it would make a good companion, and launch a breeding plan. The leading theory today suggests that dogs largely domesticated themselves. Early human camps created waste, bones, scraps, and leftover food. Wolves noticed. The wolves that feared humans less, the ones able to approach camps without fleeing, gained easier access to food. They survived more often and produced more offspring. Their pups inherited that reduced fear. Generation after generation, the calmer and more curious wolves had the advantage. Over thousands of years, they changed. Not simply because humans selected them, but because they selected us. Modern dogs descend from wolves bold enough to move toward the fire instead of running. Then something unusual happened. As these early dogs began living close to humans, their bodies started to change. Scientists comparing the facial muscles of wolves and dogs discovered something remarkable. Dogs have a muscle above the eyes that wolves lack. It is known as the levator anguli oculi medialis. This muscle allows dogs to lift their inner eyebrows, producing the wide, sad, pleading expression that makes people instantly want to help them. You know that look. Puppy eyes. Dogs did not develop it for no reason. It emerged through life beside humans because animals capable of making that expression often received more attention and care. In a sense, they were influencing us, and we were happy to respond. The connection goes deeper. When a dog gives you that look and you react, both of you release oxytocin, the hormone connected with bonding. It is the same chemical involved in the bond between a mother and her newborn child. A dog looks at you, you return the gaze, and your brain begins to treat the animal like family. No other domesticated species creates this response in quite the same way. Not cats, not horses, and not anything close. Chemistry and expressive faces help explain why humans feel attached to dogs, but they do not fully explain why we learn to trust them with our lives. To understand that, we need to look at something dogs can do better than almost any other animal. In one experiment, scientists placed food under one of two containers and tested whether animals could find it by following a human gesture. Chimpanzees, our closest genetic relatives, usually struggled. Wolves raised around humans from birth also tended to fail. Dogs, including untrained puppies with almost no experience around people, usually understood. Dogs naturally follow human gestures. They read our expressions, track our gaze, and notice when we point, nod, or even briefly glance toward an object. This ability is called social cognition. In dogs, it is especially adapted to communication with humans. Their intelligence is not only broad problem-solving ability, it is shaped to understand us. That is more than a pet, it is a partner. For most of history, that partnership was practical too. Dogs were not simply household companions. They functioned almost like living technology. Their sense of smell is estimated to be between 10,000 and 100,000 times more sensitive than ours. They hear frequencies that humans cannot detect and can outrun much of the prey people once hunted. With dogs, humans could follow a wounded animal for miles, drive prey from thick forests, or help corner an animal far larger than themselves. Dogs also guarded camps at night. They detected sounds people missed and warned the group before danger arrived. Yet one part of the human-dog story is often overlooked. Dogs did not only transform hunting or make camps safer, they also changed the way humans understood loyalty and trust. Evidence of that bond appears in ancient burial practices. In 2011, archaeologists studying a grave at Bonn Oberkassel in Germany examined two humans buried beside a dog thousands of years ago. The dog had suffered from canine distemper as a puppy, an illness that would have required weeks of constant care for it to survive. Someone kept the animal warm, gave it water, and looked after it even though survival was uncertain. The dog recovered. Later, when its humans died, it was buried with them and given the same careful treatment as the human remains. This was not merely a useful animal placed in a grave, it was treated as family. Bonn Oberkassel is not the only example. Across inhabited continents, archaeologists have found dogs buried alongside humans. In Israel, one grave contains an elderly person with a hand resting on a puppy. In Siberia, dogs were given individual graves and burial rituals similar to those used for people. A 2018 study in the Journal of Archaeological Science examined more than 140 ancient dog burials worldwide and reported that many of the animals showed signs of having received care for illness or injury before death. This reveals a bond deeper than usefulness or brain chemistry. Ancient people did not only work with dogs, they mourned them. They included them in rituals connected with the most serious stages of human life. life. Burial practices show what a culture truly values. Across thousands of years in many regions, people looked at dogs and decided they belonged with us, not beyond the camp and not in some separate category, but beside us. There is one more detail. Dogs regularly do something wolves rarely do with humans. They seek eye contact. Wolves often avoid a direct human stare because it can seem threatening. Dogs look for it. A dog watches you when it feels uncertain, frightened, or simply wants reassurance that you are still nearby. Research indicates that longer eye contact between a dog and its owner is linked to a stronger rise in oxytocin for both. Shared gaze strengthens shared trust, building the relationship one look at a time. Thousands of years ago, a wolf stepped toward a human fire. Its instincts told it to flee, but it remained. From that choice, something extraordinary developed. Today, the descendants of those wolves sleep beside our beds, travel in our cars, and wait near the door for us to return. Not only because humans trained them, but because two different species learned they could rely on each other. Of all the animals that have lived beside us, only one made that choice so deeply, so consistently, and for so long that the bond became part of both species. That is why humans trust dogs more than any other animal. Dogs place their trust in us first.